Can I name this live? Is that possible? Well, doesn't really matter. Hello to whoever joins, and shoot, guys, my phone's on like 20, so let's hope for the best. But basically, I'm reading this book, The Artist's Way. I just got it from a good friend of mine. Thank you, friend. And something just told me like to get on live and read aloud. And reading aloud is fun. So we're going to read The Artist's Way. And if you're watching, I hope you gain something from this. Wow. And so this is the first chapter. Spiritual electricity, the basic principles. I think also I wanted to get on live and do this, whether one person's in here or like 50, I don't care. Is just, I think I was very interested in the way that Dochi was reading this book. And just how she was documenting her life. And I just simply don't have the storage. So we gonna get on live and read this hoe. Okay. Period. Good to see ya. All right. And hey, so it's almost springtime. I have allergies. Leave me alone. If I sneeze on here, leave me alone. Okay. Spiritual electricity. The basic principles. For most of us, the idea that the Creator encourages creativity is a radical thought. We tend to think, or at least fear, that creative dreams are egotistical, something that God wouldn't approve of for us. After all, our creative artist is an inner youngster and prone to childish thinking. If our mom or dad express doubt or disapproval for our creative dreams, we may project the same attitude onto a parental God. This thinking must be... What? Please leave me alone. This thinking must be undone. What we are talking about is an induced or invited spiritual experience. I refer to this process as spiritual chiropractic. We undertake certain spiritual exercises to achieve alignment with the creative energy of the universe. If you think of the universe as a vast electrical sea in which you are immersed and from which you are formed, opening to your creative changes you from something bobbing in that sea to a more fully functioning, more conscious, more cooperative part of that ecosystem. As a teacher, I often sense the presence of something transcendent, a spiritual electricity, if you will, and I've come to rely on it in transcending my own limitations. I take the phrase inspired teacher to be a quite literal compliment. A higher hand than just my own engages us. Christ said, "Wherever two or more are gathered together, there I am in your midst." The God of creativity seems to feel the same way. The heart of creativity is an experience of the mystical union. The heart of the mystical union is an experience of creativity. Those who speak in spiritual terms routinely refer to God as the creator, but seldom see creator as the literal term for artist. I am suggesting you take the term creator quite literally. You are seeking to forge a creative alliance, artist to artist, with the great creator. Accepting this concept can greatly expand your creative possibilities. So one thing I love about this book is that it has quotes on the side, right? So I'm going to read those like where they come in. The music of this opera, Madame Butterfly, was dictated to me by God. I was merely instrumental in putting it on paper and communicating it to the public. Giacomo Puccini. Straight away, the ideas flow in upon me, directly from God. Johannes Brahms. We must accept that this creative pulse within us is God's creative pulse itself. Joseph Chilton Pierce. It is the creative potential itself in human beings that is the image of God. Mary Daly. Oh, no, it's not. Not 5 day. It's a year. Sorry, I got a message. Okay. As you work with the tools in this book, as you undertake the weekly tasks, many changes will be set in motion. Chief among these changes will be the triggering of synchronicity. We change, and the universe furthers and expands that change. I have an irreverent shorthand for this, that I keep taped to my desk. Leap, and the net will appear. Leap, and the net will appear. And for me, someone that's an overthinker, someone that likes to have things planned out, like to know exactly what I'm stepping into, stepping out of, and knowing what's next, that's hard. Leap, and the net will appear. It is my experience, both as an artist and as a teacher, that when we move out on faith into the act of creation, the universe is able to advance. It is a little like opening the gate at the top of a field irrigation system. Once we remove the blocks, the flow moves in. So what did that just remind me of? That made me just think about the relationship that we have to the universe really has to be equal. It's like we ask and we manifest, universe, please give me this, please give me that. But also, like, what do you bring? What do you bring to the universe? What do you gift it? What do you give it to work with? You give it your words, your prayers, your lack, thoughts, your doubts, but also do you give it any surprise? Do you give it anything to bounce off of or work off of? Or do you just want it to give? The universe is like your relationship to the universe is like any other relationship. It must be give and take. So leap, and the net will appear. The universe gains nothing from you failing. Yum. Okay. We got the tea here too. Never choose convenience over confidence. I gotta think about that one. I don't know. Again, I do not ask you to believe this in order for this creative emergence to happen. You don't have to believe in God. I simply ask you to observe and note this process as it unfolds. In effect, you will be midwifing and witnessing your own creative progression. Creativity is an experience. To my eye, a spiritual experience. It does not matter which way you think of it. Creativity leading to spirituality or spirituality leading to creativity. In fact, I do not make a distinction between the two. In the face of such experience, the whole question of belief is rendered obsolete. As Carl Jung answered the question of belief late in his life, I don't believe, I know. I'm going to read that one again. Creativity is an experience. To my eye, a spiritual experience. It does not matter which way you think of it. Creativity leading to spirituality, or spirituality leading to creativity. In fact, I do not make a distinction between the two. In the face of such experience, the whole question of belief is rendered obsolete. As Carl Jung answered the question of belief late in his life, I don't believe, I know. Yum. The following spiritual principles are the bedrock on which creative recovery and discovery can be built. Read them through once a day and keep an inner ear cocked for any shifts in attitudes or beliefs. Basic principles. Okay. I'm going to read the quotes on the side first. Every blade of grass has its angel that bends over it and whispers, grow, grow. Yes. Who told me that? Yes, that was one of my teachers, okay. Great improvisers are like priests. They are thinking only of their God. What we play is life. Creativity is harnessing universality? Yeah. And making it flow through your eyes. Basic principles. Hey, I'm reading it live. So I hold myself accountable for reading it. Okay. Creativity is the natural order of life. Life is energy, pure creative energy. There is an underlying, indwelling creative force infusing all of life, including ourselves. That's another thing. I'm going to read this slowly because I really want to take it in. Okay. 1. Creativity is the natural order of life. Wow. It is? Life is energy. Pure creative energy. Yeah, I guess everything in my life has been created. So life is creative energy. Hold on. Hello? Okay. Okay. Ugh, tea break. Two, there is an underlying... Oh. Yes, I will. I'm going to fix these allergies right now. Okay. 2, there is an underlying, indwelling, creative force infusing all of life, including ourselves. Infusing, indwelling. Okay, so we all have the force and the natural instinct. That's what I'm taking at, instinct to create. Okay. 3, when we open ourselves to our creativity, we open ourselves to the Creator's creativity within us and our lives. We open ourselves to our creativity. We open ourselves to the Creator's creativity within us and our lives. Okay. Number 4, we are ourselves creations. Yes. And we in turn are meant to continue creativity by being creative ourselves. Yo. Fake? Yes. That is very true. 5, creativity is God's gift to us. Using our creativity is our gift back to God. That 8. Okay. Yes, I am. You needed this word. Okay. 6, the refusal to be creative is self-will and is counter to our true nature. Damn. Yeah. Okay. 7, when we open ourselves to exploring our creativity, we open ourselves to God. Good, orderly direction. Nice. 9, it is safe to open ourselves up to greater and greater creativity. It is safe. Yes, it is. 10, our creative dreams and yearnings come from a divine source. As we move toward our dreams, we move toward our divinity. Yes. The Artist's Way. I just got it. Very yummy. All right. I was going to try to read the whole chapter tonight, but I got some allergy medicine to get, so we might just read the next 2 pages. All right. How to use this book for your creative recovery. There are a number of ways to use this book. Most of all, I invite you to use it creatively. This section offers you a sort of roadmap through the process with some specific ideas about how to proceed. Some students have done the course solo. Others have formed circles to work through the book together. In the back of the book, you'll find guidelines about doing the work in groups. No matter which way you choose, the Artist's Way will work for you. First, you may want to glance through the book to get a sense of the territory covered. Reading the book through is not the same as using it. Okay. Each chapter includes essays, exercises, tasks, and a weekly check-in. Don't be daunted by the amount of work it seems to entail. Much of the work is really play, and the course takes little more than 1 hour a day. When I am formally teaching, I suggest students set a weekly schedule. For example, if you're going to work a Sunday to Sunday week, begin by reading the chapter of the week on Sunday night. After you've read the chapter, speed write through the exercises. The exercises in each week are critical. So are the morning pages and the artist state. More about these in the next chapter. You probably won't have time to complete all of the other tasks in any given week. Try to do about half. Know that the rest are there for use when you are able to get back to them. In choosing which half of the tasks to do, use 2 guidelines. Pick those that appeal to you and those you strongly resist. Leave the more neutral ones for later. Just remember, in choosing, that we often resist what we most need. Damn. Clock much? Shoot. Okay. Like I said, I'm sick, guys. I'm not sick. It's the allergies. Happy spring. Okay. In all, make a time commitment of about 7 to 10 hours a week, an hour a day, or slightly more if you choose. This modest commitment to use the tools can yield tremendous results within the 12 weeks of the course. The same tools used over a longer period can alter the trajectory of a lifetime. Yes, resist it. Yo, I was just thinking that, like, honestly, when they say, oh, try to do about half, like, things like that I hate because I want to do it to my fullest ability. And if I feel like I can't do it to my fullest ability, then I'm like, I'm not going to do it at all. Damn, what a trap. But I can't resist. I have to just work through it. In working with this book, remember that the artist's way is a spiral path. You will circle through some of the issues over and over, each time at a different level. There's no such thing as being done with an artistic life. Frustrations and rewards exist at all levels on the path. Our aim here is to find the trail, establish our footing, and begin the climb. The creative vistas that open will quickly excite you. Yes. Amen. Amen to that. Okay. I can finish the chapter. Come on. I've been compelled. Okay. I won't resist. Damn. Okay. Okay. The purpose of art is not a rarefied intellectual distillate. I don't know what that word means. It is life intensified. It is life intensified, brilliant life. The purpose of art is not a rarefied intellectual distillate. I don't know what that means. I'll search that up. What to expect? Many of us wish we were more creative. Many of us sense we are more creative, but unable to effectively tap that creativity. Our dreams elude us. Our lives feel somehow flat. Often we have great ideas, wonderful dreams, but are unable to actualize them for ourselves. Sometimes we have specific creative longings we would love to be able to fulfill. Learning to play the piano, painting, taking an acting class, or writing. Sometimes our goal is more diffuse. We hunger for what might be called creative living, an expanded sense of creativity in our business lives and sharing with our children, our spouse, our friends. While there is no quick fix for instant pain-free creativity, creative recovery or discovery is a teachable, trackable spiritual process. Each of us in complex and highly individual yet see, sometimes you gotta slow down, sorry. Each of us is complex and highly individual, yet there are common recognizable denominators to the creative recovery process. Working with this process, I see a certain amount of defiance and giddiness in the first few weeks. This entry stage is followed closely by explosive anger in the course's midsection. The anger is followed by grief, then alternating waves of resistance and hope. This peaks and valleys phase of growth becomes a series of expansions and contractions. a birthing process in which students experience intense elation and defensive skepticism. Okay. Yeah, see, you get it. Sorry. Let's recover. Let's be mindful. Artist way. Okay, so this book is meant to trigger. It's meant to bring up all that stuff. Anger followed by grief, alternating waves, resistance, hope. This peaks and valleys phase of growth becomes a series of expansions and contractions. Okay, that's duality. That's life. That's where, 6, 7. Okay. A birthing process, yes. Okay. This choppy growth phase is followed by a strong urge to abandon the process and return to life as we know it, the familiar, even though the familiar may be killing you. In other words, a bargaining period. People are often tempted to abandon the course at this point. I call this a creative U-turn. Recommitment to the process next triggers the freefall of a major ego surrender. Following this, the final phase of the course is characterized by a new sense of self, marked by increased autonomy, resilience, expectancy, and excitement, as well as by the capacity to make and execute concrete creative plans. If this sounds like a lot of emotional tumult, it is. When we engage in a creative recovery, we enter into a withdrawal process from life as we know it. Withdrawal is another way of saying detachment or non-attachment, which is emblematic of consistent work with any meditation process. Okay. What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Okay. In movie terms, we slowly pull focus, lifting up and away from being embedded in our lives until we attain an overview. This overview empowers us to make valid creative choices. Think of it as a journey with difficult, varied, and fascinating terrain. You are moving to a higher ground. The fruit of your withdrawal is what you need to understand as a positive process, both painful and exhilarating. Many of us find that we have squandered our own creative energies by investing disproportionately in the lives, hopes, dreams, and plans of others. Their lives have obscured and detoured our own. As we consolidate a core through our withdrawal process, we become more able to articulate our own boundaries, dreams, and authentic goals. Our personal flexibility increases while our malleability to the whims of others decreases. We experience a heightened sense of autonomy and possibility, which is what I feel like I need. I be so invested in other people, and it's just like, wait a minute. What about your life? What about me? Okay. Where were we? Ordinarily, when we speak of withdrawal, we think of having a substance removed from us. We give up alcohol, drugs, sugars, fats, caffeine, nicotine, and we suffer a withdrawal. It's useful to view creative withdrawal a little differently. We ourselves are the substance we withdraw to, not from. As we pull our overextended and misplaced creative energy back into our core, our own core, we begin to excavate our buried dreams. This is a tricky process. Some of our dreams are very volatile, and the mere act of brushing them off sends an enormous surge of energy bolting through our denial system. Such grief, such loss, such pain. It is at this point in the recovery process that we make what Robert Bly calls a descent into ashes. We mourn the self we abandoned. We greet this self as we might greet a lover at the end of a long and costly war. To effect a creative recovery, we must undergo a time of mourning. In dealing with the suicide of the nice self we have been making to do with, we find a certain amount of grief to be essential. Our tears prepare the ground for our future growth. Without this creative moistening, we may remain barren. We must allow the bolt of pain to strike us. Remember, this is useful pain. Lightning illuminates. How do you know if you are creatively blocked? Jealousy is an excellent clue. Are there artists whom you resent? Do you tell yourself, I could do that if only? Do you tell yourself that if only you took your creative potential seriously, you might stop telling yourself it's too late? Stop waiting until you make enough money to do something you'd really love? Hi, Kim. We're reading The Artist's Way, so it's this thing I'm going to start doing every day and reading it on live. Enjoy. Stop waiting until you make enough money to do something you'd really love. That be me. I be wanting to make films. I want to do so much. And I'm like, I don't have the money. I don't have the money. The money's coming. The money's already on the way. So, run it. Stop telling yourself it's just my ego whenever you yearn for a more creative life. Stop telling yourself that dreams don't matter, that they are only dreams, and that you should be more sensible. Stop fearing that your family and friends would think you crazy. Real. Stop telling yourself that creativity is a luxury and that you should be grateful for what you've got. Hell no. Hell no. There's always more. There's always better. Always. Things always get better. As you learn to recognize, nurture, and protect your inner artist, you will be able to move beyond pain and creative constriction. You will learn ways to recognize and resolve fear, remove emotional scar tissue, and strengthen your confidence. Damaging old ideas about creativity will be explored and discarded. Working with this book, you will experience an intensive, guided encounter with your own creativity. Your private villains, champions, wishes, fears, dreams, hopes, and triumphs. The experience will make you excited, depressed, angry, afraid, joyous, hopeful, and ultimately more free. Spiritual electricity, the basic principles. Okay. All right. That was like the first chapter. So the next is the basic tools. I will read this tomorrow. But I do want they were talking about how, yeah, nice. Oh, okay, great. I don't even have to start week 1 yet. I want to start, because they were talking about if you want to do a Sunday to Sunday schedule. I think I like middle of the week, Wednesday to Wednesday. And that's what I want to do. So I will be working with these first 2 chapters and, making it work for me. And then next Wednesday, I will start week 1. Yeah, because I have all of the basic tools to get through. Yeah, look at all these pages. I have to write a contract. I have to sign a contract. There's things to do. So we got all these pages to read. So I think that's 9 to 24. Yeah. Shoot, I'll reread. I don't care. I'll write it out. I don't care. I'll take it seriously. Because they said don't just read it through. Work with the book. Okay. Yeah, so this is something I'm doing. And shout out to this. Ooh, hold on, y'all. Ooh. Blessings. Thank you. Please pop out whenever I'm live. It's never on no silly stuff. It's just it used to be. But now we're working on The Artist's Way. So shout out Julia Cameron. Bow. I've heard this book changes lives. So I hope just by listening, it changes y'all's. Okay? All right. Later. Bye.